My name is Alessia Romano, and tonight, the boutique manager who laughed at my worn travel coat is watching as her staff pack their personal belongings into cardboard boxes while my partner, Michael Stone, buys the very ground they stand on. There is a specific kind of silence that falls over a room when a bully realizes they have mistaken quiet grace for poverty. It is a cinematic, heavy silence, and it is the only music I need. Have you ever been judged by your appearance before you even opened your mouth? I want to hear your experiences in the comments below. I grew up in the shadow of the Amalfi Coast, where style isn't about the price tag, but about the soul of the fabric and the dignity of the wearer. I am a fashion buyer, a woman who spends her life identifying beauty in the details. I came to New York to scout new labels, arriving with the jet lag of a 10-hour flight and the humble attire of a traveler seeking comfort. I walked into Le Prisme on Fifth Avenue, a temple of high fashion that I had personally helped supply with Italian silks through my distribution networks, expecting a professional atmosphere. Instead, I found a den of superficiality. The store manager, a woman named Sheila, with a face pulled tight by vanity and a heart hardened by elitism, didn't even look up from her tablet when I entered. I approached a rack of evening gowns, my fingers tracing the hem of a piece I knew was sourced from a mill in Como. Before I could even check the size, a hand clamped down on the silk, pulling it away. "I'm sorry, but these pieces are for serious clients only," Sheila said, her voice dripping with a faux politeness that felt like acid. She looked me up and down, lingering on my scuffed leather boots and my simple linen blouse. "The outlet stores are 3 blocks over. I think you'll find their price points more accessible for your budget." I didn't argue. I didn't raise my voice. I simply looked her in the eye and smiled. A calm, Italian smile that had been passed down through generations of women who knew their worth. "I appreciate your concern for my finances, Sheila," I said, reading her name tag. "The fabric is indeed delicate. It's a shame the service isn't as refined as the thread." I turned and walked out, leaving her smirking at her colleagues. They thought they had won a small victory against an interloper. They had no idea they had just declared war on a ghost. That evening, the New York skyline was a jagged crown of diamonds against a velvet sky. I sat in the back of a black sedan, my hand resting in the calloused, steady palm of Michael Stone. Michael is a man who defines the word authority. To the public, he is a private equity titan with a stranglehold on international logistics. In the circles that matter, he is the man who decides which luxury brands survive and which ones vanish from the shelves. He is an American with the temperament of a storm, calm on the surface but devastating when provoked. "You're quiet tonight, Alessia," he said, his voice a low, gravelly hum. "I had an interesting encounter at Le Prisme today," I replied, staring out at the neon lights of Fifth Avenue. I told him the story, not with bitterness but with the clinical precision of a report. I told him about the mockery, the assumption of my poverty, and the way Sheila had handled the silk I had helped create. Michael didn't move a muscle, but I felt the temperature in the car drop. He didn't offer empty platitudes. He simply picked up his phone. "Marcus," he said to his head of operations, "I want a full breakdown of the lease agreement for the Le Prisme flagship on 5th, and get me the CEOs of Valenti, Moretti, and Russo on a conference line, now." The plan was set in motion with the elegance of a grandmaster's opening move. Michael didn't want to scream. He wanted to erase. By the time we arrived back at the boutique an hour before closing, the wheels of justice were already turning at a speed the staff couldn't comprehend. We walked in together. This time I was dressed in a floor-length charcoal gown, my hair swept back, revealing the Romano family emeralds. Michael looked every bit the apex predator in a midnight blue suit. The moment the chimes at the door rang, Sheila rushed forward, her VIP smile firmly in place, until she recognized me. The color drained from her face, leaving her looking sallow under the harsh boutique lighting. "Mr. Stone," she stammered, ignoring me and focusing entirely on Michael. "We weren't expecting a visit from the board. Please, let me get you a glass of vintage champagne. I'm so sorry about the disarray. We've had some difficult foot traffic today." She cast a nervous, pleading glance at me, hoping I wouldn't speak. I simply walked over to the same rack of gowns from earlier and pulled out the piece she had snatched from my hands. The champagne won't be necessary, Sheila, Michael said, his voice echoing in the marble-lined room. He didn't look at the clothes, he looked through her.
Don't forget to subscribe to this channel for more revenge and love stories. Turn on the bell notification to stay updated.
I'm not here to shop. I'm here to review the ethics of my investments. You see, my partner here, Miss Romano, informed me that this store has developed a habit of discriminating against its patrons based on their appearance. It was a misunderstanding, Sheila chirped, her voice rising an octave. A simple mistake in judgment. We take pride in our exclusivity. Exclusivity is a brand strategy, I said softly, stepping closer to her. Cruelty is a character flaw. You didn't just insult a customer today, Sheila. You insulted the very woman who signs the quality control certificates for the Italian mills that provide 70% of your inventory. The silence returned, heavier than before. The other sales associates began to huddle in the back, realizing that the ground was shifting beneath them. Michael checked his watch. As of 10 minutes ago, Valenti, Moretti, and Russo have pulled their distribution licenses from this location. Effective immediately. And since I happen to own the building through a subsidiary, I've decided that the lease for Prisme is no longer in the best interest of the neighborhood. You have until midnight to vacate the premises. Sheila's eyes went wide. You can't do that. This is a flagship store. We have millions in stock. Then I suggest you start packing, Michael replied. The trucks will be here shortly to reclaim the licensed merchandise. Anything left after midnight becomes property of the building. The scene was cinematic in its coldness. There was no shouting, no shattered glass, no physical force. It was the absolute power of a man who could move mountains with a phone call, directed entirely by the love he had for a woman who had been wronged. I watched as Sheila, the woman who had felt so powerful a few hours ago, slumped against a glass counter, her world collapsing into a pile of revoked licenses and legal notices. As we turned to leave, a young associate, the only one who had offered me a polite nod earlier that day, approached us, looking terrified. I stopped and placed a hand on her arm. You have a good eye and a kind heart, I said. Call my office tomorrow. I think the new boutique opening in this space next month will need a manager who understands that class is a behavior, not a price tag. We walked out of the store and back into the cool New York night. The sirens and the city hum felt like a symphony. Michael opened the car door for me, his expression finally softening into the warmth he saved only for me. Did that provide the closure you needed? He asked. It provided the balance, I replied, leaning my head against his shoulder. Justice isn't about the revenge, Michael. It's about making sure the world remembers that the people they look down on are often the ones holding everything up. The aftermath was swift. By morning, the windows of Prisme were covered in brown paper. The fashion world whispered about the sudden restructuring. But only a few people knew the truth. I returned to my work, scouting new talent and ensuring that the beauty I brought into the world was treated with the respect it deserved. I kept the travel coat I had worn that first day. It serves as a reminder that the world will always try to judge you by your cover, but it's the fire inside you, and the people who are willing to stand in that fire with you, that defines your story. I am Alessia Romano. I am a woman of Italy, a woman of fashion, and a woman who knows that power is best used to protect the humble and humble the proud. My name is now spoken with a different kind of reverence in the boutiques of Fifth Avenue. Not because of the man on my arm, but because of the lesson I taught them. The boutique is gone, replaced by a space that celebrates everyone who enters. Sheila is a ghost of the past, a cautionary tale of what happens when you mistake a lioness for a lamb. And as for me, I am exactly where I belong, walking through the world with my head high, knowing that I never need a label to tell me who I am. Karma is an elegant designer. It takes time to weave the pattern, but the final garment always fits perfectly. I look at Michael, sleeping beside me in the quiet of our home, and I know that I am safe, I am loved, and I am powerful. The city continues to spin, but for us, the world is exactly as it should be. Balanced, beautiful, and just. The lights of the city fade as I close my eyes, the memory of that empty store a satisfying end to a long journey. I have learned that the loudest voices often have the least to say, and the quietest people often hold the keys to the kingdom. If you find yourself being looked down upon, don't scream. Don't fight. Just wait. Because when the mafia boss of your life finally steps into the light, the people who mocked you will find themselves in a very dark room, wondering how they lost everything to a woman they thought was nothing. I am home. I am peace. I am the justice that Fifth Avenue never saw coming. And my name is a melody that will ring in their ears every time they look at a piece of Italian silk and remember the woman they should have respected. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel for more Mafia love and justice stories. Where are you watching from? Drop your country in the comments. I'd love to hear your thoughts.
Don't forget to subscribe to this channel for more revenge and love stories. Turn on the bell notification to stay updated.